The autumn wind is a packer, blustering in from the bay. With a rollicking song, he sweeps along, banging the drum all day. His face is weather-beaten. He wears a cheese-filled cash with a green and gold cape on his back and a frozen stiff mustache. He rumbles across the tundra, a hero brave and bold. And the fans all cheer and raise their beer as he fights through rain and cold. The autumn wind is a packer, tackling just for fun. He'll knock you round and upside down and bask in the Titletown sun.
Welcome back into the Packers Corner. Excited to be joined by Derek tonight. My father is up fishing, living his best life north of the border. I'm sure he's probably reeled in. I haven't got any pictures yet, so maybe he hasn't reeled in any muskies yet. I'm sure I'll hear about it in the near future. So sorry for the delay. I got a couple viewers that were asking what the heck's going on with the show here, Schmitty. So I figured, maybe because we were able to bring Derek on, they'll forgive us here. So excited to be with you both. Derek, back on the show here. How you feeling about the Packers season to date?
Yeah, for sure. It's been a while. I think it's been maybe over a year since I've been on last, but hopefully there's some loyal listeners from back in the day that maybe recognize me. I don't know.
I think our subscriber count will go through the roof with, the extended Crumry family and the like.
Yeah, we might. Hopefully, I don't take Gar's spot for good. I like listening to him. He's obviously got some very important and knowledgeable takes. But yeah, no, I feel
maybe
really good about the Packers.
Spot.
Sure, I can do that.
You could handle it just fine.
Yeah.
But no, Packers. How you feeling about the boys in green and gold to this point?
So I like it. I think it's kind of where we haven't been playing our best yet. I feel like those first two wins were obviously very impressive, but we only won by 10 to 14 points in both of those, but it felt like we really controlled that game. It felt like 3-score wins at least. And now, 1-1-1 in the last few games. That's not a great record. But we also didn't play well. I think this last game, which we're obviously going to get into it in a lot of detail, I think we won comfortably, but we should have won by 3+ scores for sure. And then you guys have covered the 0-1-1-2 games. Those were brutal and very, very winnable games. But I feel good overall. We haven't played our best ball, even close to our best ball yet. But I think it's around the corner.
Well, that seems a lot more measured than maybe what you get from the typical Packers Corner crew on a week-to-week basis here. Schmitty, you, me, I think all three of us, we kind of go from the top of the mountain to the bottom of the gutter pretty quick. It takes about 30 seconds. What's your take if you're going to look back on where we are to date?
Well, we are, and welcome back, Derek. I think last time Derek was on, he made me cry. But aside from
and happy birthday, Schmitty.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
Happy birthday.
The big 3-3. I'm very glad to make it another.
You don't look a day over 45.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We are the only team that has held a double-digit lead in every game thus far. And I think that speaks to just how difficult the NFL is, the week-in, week-out nature of this whole thing. And while, yes, you can be disappointed in some of the efforts we've put forth, giving up 40 points to the Cowboys, certainly not up to standard with how well our defense has been playing, especially knowing that you've beat the Commanders and Lions to start the year. Griffey, Matthew Golden, I was really wanting to see a surgence out of MG, and we got just that with 100-yard production out of him last week. So there's some good things. Micah Parsons, we rushed the quarterback very quickly. I think Joe Flacco was about 2.3 seconds was his average throw time on Sunday. So we're able to get pressure. It's not resulting in these cool sacks that we necessarily were hoping for out of Micah. We thought maybe defensive player of the year right out the gate, but he is certainly a player that is felt every play when our defense is out there. This is the first year, Griffey, in a long time that I've been really excited to watch our defense every possession, right? Yeah,
Can you ever remember saying that? Even in the Super Bowl year, I think the last legitimate time you might have thought about saying that was like 96. We had Reggie White. That was a fun defense to watch. I can't say I was excited to watch the defense even in the Super Bowl run in 2010. But to your point, yeah, that's very exciting.
No, I totally agree. I like individual players certainly over the course of the last 25 years. But I'm okay with where we're at thus far in the season, being 3-1-1. We're currently the second seed in the NFC. What I'm more so looking forward to the remainder of the year. I mean, we have the best division in the league. You couldn't convince me otherwise right now, especially with how the Bears took care of Washington. Every game in the division is going to be critical to us getting a home game come the playoffs.
I think we talked early in the year about, if there was going to be an issue that would hold us back when it mattered most. Not necessarily that we were expecting this, but where would that crack be? Where would we have a stress point that would do us in? And Schmitty has been nervous about the quarterback, Jordan Love. And to Schmitty's point, we've seen Jordan make poor throws. The one that stands out in our minds is against San Francisco 49ers in the playoffs, Derek. And we haven't been in a moment that's been that big since. So I don't know what that stress test is going to look like, to your point, Schmitty, when he's under the bright lights like that. But what area would you point to that you would have the most anxiety about cracking under pressure there for this team? And would you agree with Schmitty? What would you take about his take as well?
I think he's definitely got a point from what we've witnessed in the past. And honestly, so I took some notes in preparation. I rewatched the game and everything. Want to be as knowledgeable as I can for a casual viewer and first time on the pod in a while. But one of the notes I have is Jordan Love. He's still prone to the very, very big mistake, the very avoidable mistake. That he's had two of them now this year. Obviously, it didn't cost us the game this week, but early in that game, that is one of the most basic throwaway plays. You're just broken pocket, running for your life away from two defensive linemen towards the sideline. You got to throw that ball away. Like, Romeo's completely covered. There's a defender in front of him, a defender behind him. There's no reason to be throwing that ball inbounds there. So, yeah, that's definitely a good point.
Looked like number 4 out there for sure.
He definitely did, and he has a few times there. He's made like
I love it. I kind of love it.
You kind of love it sometimes because he made some really good throws this week as well that were very impressive and big plays.
And the one speaking of getting it done with the game on the line, the strike he delivered to Matthew Golden was an awesome one, of course.
Yeah, he had one early to Matthew Golden that was just a dime, and then the one late was a big play too. But yeah, so Love is definitely, I've come around. I was pretty skeptical early on in his career just because it's not like automatic. Sometimes some other fans get really hyped for their new young quarterback that has not proven anything. I was more skeptical on Love, but he's definitely proven he can make the throws, and he's got good decision making 95% of the time. The problem is the 5% is like really bad decision making, and it could really cost us when it counts. I think I mentioned in the chat, like kicking was a concern. Now it's interesting with McManus being injured. The young guy, he came in. I thought for sure he was missing that field goal at the end just because he's not really an NFL kicker.
He's a substitute teacher.
He's a substitute teacher.
An aspiring substitute teacher.
Yeah. Kicked in the UFL. I was like, and he kicked it calmly right down the middle. So I don't know what we do if McManus is out again and he kicks it well again here this week.
I don't think McManus has been rock solid. It's been I don't know. I haven't analyzed it too closely what the trajectory was on his kicks and to what degree maybe that was contributing versus the blocking up front. But the ones that have gotten past the line of scrimmage have been rock solid for McManus for an extended period of time. So I think we'd be slow to see him go. I think what I might point to is Matt LaFleur. Is that guy going to get it done when it matters most? I think LaFleur is frustrating to me because I really think his floor is about, a top quartile coach. He's got a very high floor, but it doesn't seem like in crunch time, and even just adapting throughout the game, he comes into games with great game plans. And then we see in the second half, I mean, we beat the heck out of everyone in the first quarter. And then the second half, we get out-adjusted oftentimes, it feels like.
Agreed.
And
yeah.
when it comes to clock management, I mean, I know you and I are tearing our hair out when we watch some of these games, Derek, with the way over and over and over again. We haven't seen it cost us as much this year to date. But that's the guy that gives me a little anxiety. Am I out of line there, Schmitty?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yes, there's not many other coaches we would trade Matt for, right? I think that's fair to say. But there are times where you were just scratching.
I think there's
their
three
head.
in our division that I would trade him for, unfortunately.
That's incredible. That's incredible. I would say 2, 1 certainly. Ben Johnson, he's getting there. I do not want Dan Campbell as our head football coach.
Oh, that's my top pick.
Oh no, there's no way.
Talk about aura.
It needs to be an offensive minded coach. You have you seen who do we employ as our offensive coordinator? There's no way that you need Matt. You need a guy like KOC at the helm, Ben Johnson, one of these guys that have a great sense of what to do on the play call sheet. So, I've said this in previous episodes. Matt needs like 9 handlers, and that's fine. He needs 9 handlers on the field with him. What do you do in situations? When should I call a timeout? Have a guy for it. When should I throw a flag? Have a guy for it. It doesn't need to be all on him. Okay, I would prefer actually at this point, knowing the body of work we have seen out of him and some of the blunders he's made managing the clock, that give those responsibilities to someone else so that you can just focus on what your first 15 are to start the game and making adjustments at halftime, because we're not really good in those second half adjustments, Griffey. It's starting to get upsetting, the fact that we just lay an egg coming out of the half and it just plays itself over and over again, just like it did this last week. We're up 10-0. It should have been 17-0, but we have a quarterback that's shaky at best with what's going on between his noggin. Okay. I need to understand why there is such a large difference in what the product we're putting out in the first half to the second. The Bengals had a 10-minute drive to start the second half. It was a 3-point ball game at one point. This is a game, Griffey, that we are 14.5-point favorites. Why is it that we can never put a team away? 14.5 points. We never have any killer instinct. Lions of last year, some Bills games, some Ravens game. Some of these teams, they destroy. They put away these mediocre teams, and we never seem to do it. And I think that speaks highly on what Matt is doing with this team. And so I question his ability to put away the bad teams because we never seem to do it.
A guy like Dan Campbell's out there stepping on throats when he needs to.
Hey, if we combined all 4 coaches in the NFC North, they all kind of have different strengths. That would be one hell of a coach. Yep. Because so my note on LaFleur, which we've kind of already covered it, but like he's top 3 at like maybe he's the best like game planner, like opening the game, script, like his game plan early on is so good, but he doesn't make the mid-game adjustments, or he hasn't done it too well to date. And decision making has been shaky. Challenges, time management, like you covered, like it's shaky. But when he opens that game, especially like if you go back to last year when Love got hurt, and we're like, this Malik guy just came in, and LaFleur just drew up game plans that we got 2 nice wins, and so I love him in preparation of games and everything like that. But it could be the second halves have not been good so far.
I would love just a little bit more creativity. He's so good with some of the things he draws up, but in the middle with the bullets flying, he gets a little bit conservative, maybe is overused term with him. But it's just lacking some creative thinking and lacking some situational decision making. I would love, out of line here. I would love Brett Favre whispering into his ear between drives. Not for Brett to actually make any decisions, but for him to just sway LaFleur like 5% that way. I'd love maybe a darkness retreat with Aaron Rodgers for Coach LaFleur, broaden his horizons there, but not disrupt what he has. That's what I want to see. Or Schmitty's 9 handlers, whatever it takes. But, in preparation, he's awesome. We got to talk a little bit about the Bengals game. We almost got Flacco'd twice in 3 games. That would have been painful. I'm glad we didn't let that happen again. But to your point, Schmitty, we just didn't shut the door on this one. Couple things that I stood out to me, and I'll let you guys riff on this a little bit too, but Carrington Valentine, my boy, was back out there again looking good, much better than he did against George Pickens, and I love the jaw-channeled celebration on 3rd down. I wish it would have been 1 down later that Keyshawn Nixon was joining him with that, but didn't quite happen. I guess that's the big one that stood out to me. Matthew Golden, jumping out a little bit there. But what stood out to you from that game? And then we can talk a little around the division before we look ahead to this week.
Is that for me or Schmitty to start?
Well, you guys fight over it.
All right, I'll do it. I think some things that stood out to me was, Matthew Golden. I'm definitely coming around to him being number 1, number 2 receiver. He had a really good game. He's getting open. He's making catches. I still love Romeo. I think Romeo's reliable. He's got great hands. We got both those guys. I think Matthew Golden took the first punt return and Romeo took the rest of them. That was looking good. I thought special teams did better than in the past, which is not asking much, but I think the special teams did a little bit better this week. One thing that stood out to me that I am wondering why, it's 5 games in, so it's not a tiny sample size. Why are we forcing the ball to Savion? I feel like we're drawing up specific plays that are to him, and they really haven't. None of them have worked yet. I like him as a kick returner, but we're drawing up end arounds and screen passes, and it's like, is that the person we need to be forcing the ball to?
Is it too early to call him a bust? I didn't like that pick to begin with. I wanted Torrey Horton real bad, and we've seen him make a couple plays for Seattle. Anyways. Didn't mean to cut you off.
I don't get why we're drawing a play specifically for him, because we're not really doing it for other people. I've been listening to some Wilde and Tausch, and it's like the offense should be Jacobs and Kraft, and then we got everybody else, whoever's open, whoever. Like, we're not. It just seems like we're drawing specific plays for Savion, and I don't think that's necessary.
Well, they made a big deal about saying how we're not going to force feed Matthew Golden.
Exactly.
Well, okay, then why are we force feeding Savion? Yeah, to your point. So, I agree.
The only other thing that stood out, Josh Jacobs. Back to what he was doing last year, kind of dominating. So offensive line, I think in the run blocking must have been doing quite a bit better than before, because he had a really good game. Comfortable win. It just should have been more.
Schmitty, what's going on with those big boys up front? I really don't know. I spent, for the limited time I played football, I just avoided all those guys in the middle. I don't really know what they have going on. All those linemen seem to hang out together. But I really don't know what those boys do up front. What have you seen there?
Well, I think at some point we need to start to solidify these guys' positions. I don't, even Matt doesn't make it a secret during the week. These guys are trying to cover and learn each position, tackle, guard, center, so that if it's all interchangeable, which for us, if one guy goes down, it's usually like a 2 or 3 person shuffle as to who is doing what. We've seen Jordan Morgan play a little bit better. He's which first round draft pick, you just pray that we can finally land one of these. We haven't in quite some time. The kid, Kennard, I believe, the right tackle, he's actually been very serviceable, so it's been great to see. Josh Jacobs, really nice performance. And so I'm actually pleased with where we're situated on the offensive line. It was supposed to be maybe our biggest strength and asset coming into the season. And so keep Jordan upright, give him the ability to extend plays. Jordan has the arm. He can touch every blade of grass on the field with that football. You just got to give him some time. And I feel that the offensive line has been serviceable, if not a plus, almost on a weekly basis. So
we got a little ways to go before the trade deadline here. And we already got, Micah Parsons, so it might not be appropriate for us to ask for anything for the next decade plus. But if we were going to make an addition out there, is there anyone on your radar?
On the radar, well, I saw we were trying to do some workouts for some cornerbacks, Asante Samuel Jr. I forget the other gentleman that I think we worked out. I think it would still be a cornerback at this point, truthfully, as with respect to how good Kashan has been, and we getting Valentine back. Outside of the nervousness that Jordan provides me, I still want us to solidify that cornerback role. I never feel like we have someone that is shut down. Jair, we had a season and a half of dominance, but Nixon has been a flash, and I'm just not sold, especially what we saw Jamar do. And Jamar's one of the best.
That was fortunate.
Okay.
I'm sold on our corners. Derek, are you sold on our corners?
I agree. That was my point. I was going to say Nixon. I feel even better about him because they threw at him like 7 times in a row, or maybe like 6 out of 7 plays in a row, kind of towards the end, and he was right there. Like, they could have been breakups. Jamar Chase, I think you guys know how highly I think of him. I think he's the best in the NFL. And I don't think it's that close. And I even have higher thoughts on him, as his career progresses. He had a ridiculous catch on that touchdown. And then all the other ones, Nixon was right there. And he had a couple breakups as well. I feel good about Nixon. But yes, I mean, you can never have too many defensive backs, I think.
Yeah, I've always been a staunch believer in Carrington Valentine too, and I think highly of Jamar Chase. But boy, George Pickens made him look a lot worse than Jamar did, and George isn't even known as a route runner. He's that guy's just balling out. That's another guy who I wanted in the offseason. For a 3rd round pick, George Pickens, he would look awfully good in any color uniform, but certainly green and yellow. Derek, anyone on your wish list?
No, I don't think there is really on my wish list, and I don't know if I don't pay attention to that kind of stuff that closely. I don't know, maybe you guys do, but I would be very surprised if we're adding someone. I think there's been a little bit more rumors about us subtracting someone.
Well, your boy Romeo is been talked about in that way.
He's been talked about
a long time.
Yep, he has. I think Rashawn has been mentioned recently. I'm kind of more hoping we don't subtract anybody. Is my hope.
That's fair contention. I think we got a good group. I think you kind of let it run and see where the chips fall.
Mm-hmm.
We got a matchup coming up against the Cardinals. Oh, before that, I was going to get into a little bit across the division. Caleb Williams got it done against the Commanders there. The Vikings quarterback situation. Bears the Lions a little bit up and down. I really did not see them getting beat by the Chiefs, but around the NFC North here, wow, the Vikings are an interesting one. Is that injury real with J.J. McCarthy? That's my first question. What do you guys think on that?
Griffey, I saw the man at an apple orchard with his wife and young child. He was walking around just fine, taking pictures, glad-handing.
Did you challenge him to a foot race or a 3-cone drill, short shuttle?
I just look the other way. I don't get too excited about it. I know what I saw with my own 2 eyes. That guy is fine. This is all a big play. They're trying to just sweep it under the rug. Kwesi's trying to figure out a way to continue to keep his job. They're going to be in cap hell after the season's over. So good luck to him. JJ, another Ponder-esque situation.
Are you buying that injury, Derek?
I'm not fully buying it. No, I kind of wasn't at first. Except just a couple hours ago, I was told confidently by a coworker that if JJ's healthy, he's starting. So I just don't think that's the case.
I've seen so many people really just like scratching their how is he not recovered from this ankle? Like, that really surprised me. It was never real. It was never real. They benched the guy. This is not that tough to see. He didn't miss a snap. He was moving around okay. I'm sure adrenaline's pumping. Maybe his ankle hurt, but they're trying to protect this guy. I think I just can't even imagine that this is a real injury. I really can't.
Would it be 4 weeks if he because they had Carson's played 2 games and then they had a bye week? So now this would be the 4th week since the ankle sprain. A high ankle sprain can last about 4 weeks, but
Well, if you play cornerback or something, yeah, it's going to
right.
be a big problem. But I mean, Brett Favre, for sure, maybe that's a bad example, but he would not have missed a game. I can tell you
No.
that right away. He wouldn't have missed a practice, for goodness sake. So,
I think we're pretty lucky because the Vikings have a pretty good roster. We know they have an amazing head coach. They're really just the biggest thing they're missing is quarterback. And if it's Carson or if it's JJ, it's not going to matter. They're still missing a quarterback. Those two are not going to be the guy.
well, I just hope they don't give Max Brosmer a shot. I'm a little
Yeah,
nervous.
okay.
Oh, stop it.
I'm a big Brosmer believer, and
I'm sure
you know
you
my
are.
quarterback track record here, guys.
Okay. Well, I think we're lucky that they don't have Sam Darnold.
Well, okay, this is the list of guys they could have: Darnold, Daniel Jones, Aaron Rodgers to start right off the bat there. Then you think next order of reasonable possibility: Kirk Cousins, and my dad's guy, Nick Mullins. All of those seem like they probably would have helped the squad to this point. Maybe Nick Mullins a bit of an asterisk, but I don't think it's that crazy. How do you miss on that many guys and let them in the door and out the door that quick, Schmitty?
That's just Quake secrecy. That's just terrible decision to be had. They had Rodgers. Rodgers was begging to join the team. He probably would have signed. What did he sign with the Steelers? Like
10
or
mil?
13 million? Yeah, like it would have been a slam dunk. That this team would have been absolutely terrifying. You have look what the Rodgers is doing with the Steelers right now. You're telling me that the Steelers have a better makeup of a team than the Vikings?
No.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. The Vikings would be formidable. We would be tough. It'd be tough to beat those guys this year. So
Well, and then the other guy, they of course took J.J. McCarthy ahead of Bo Nix as well.
yeah,
So it's a long list of really reasonable
great.
options.
Daniel Jones is leading the Colts to a very successful season. So I think they might have messed this one up, especially considering the makeup, how they're playing the salary out. They're paying a lot of veterans. It's going to be next year is going to be tough. They're going to make a lot of tough decisions. You had Rodgers, a 4-time MVP, in your face. You probably should have took him.
I said it on record, so I got to stick with it. My quarterback evaluation for that draft was Jaden Daniels number 1, Michael Penix number 2, J.J. McCarthy number 3. Who else? Drake May. Then I would have gone. I'd have gone Nix, and then I would have really debated between Caleb Williams or Spencer Rattler. That's the truth. That's the truth. I'm not going to change that list. But is Caleb Williams going to make me really regret that, Derek? Is he starting to turn the corner here?
That was an impressive comeback victory, for sure, and they got another winnable game here. So yeah, the Bears, they might be finally becoming a threat that Schmitty thought a couple years ago. I think your take is obviously way off in terms of grading those quarterbacks from that draft. I know you'd like to think or say that you're great, but you're still obviously JJ's early, but you're saying he's one of the best, and he might be the worst.
Well,
yeah,
it's looking bad for JJ. Jaden Daniels looking like he's taking a step back, though. I mean, he doesn't look as good as he did last year to this point. Michael Penix ascending. Maybe he's been hot the last couple weeks.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, we'll see. I guess with Caleb, I think he's got a lot of talent. He's getting a better coach this year, so it's early, and they're looking better. Maybe we'll talk about it, but it's kind of crazy how backloaded our divisional schedule is. It's wild. We only got like one divisional game in the first 13 weeks, I think.
Well, I was nervous looking at the schedule to start the year. I was like, maybe we've played our last game against Caleb Williams. Maybe it's going to be Tyson Bagent by the time we get there. I don't have that fear as much as I once did.
Yeah.
Schmitty, how do you feel about your boy?
How could you not be excited about him? How could you not be? If you're a Bears fan, think about how much doom and gloom there's been. Ben Johnson comes through the doors. You got a number 1 pick quarterback, and I mean they're winning football games. So if you're a Bears fan right now, you're pretty excited about the prospect of even what this season could bring and then beyond. Knowing, as I say at the beginning of the season, the Bears are going to be a tough out every week. they're going to give the Packers a tough showing. I think we have one-score football games coming ahead of us in damn near all of these matchups in the North. And yeah, it's backloaded. We play the Bears twice in a matter of 3 weeks towards the end of the season. You got the Vikings the last week of the year, which it's crazy that if none of these teams fall off, which I don't necessarily think they do, that all of these games, like, it's going to be must-watch TV. How many games are we going to get flexed just in these NFC North matchups? So really an exciting division to watch, even if you're just a casual NFL fan around the league.
Yeah, and then you look the last team in the division here, the Detroit Lions. Anything to add on them, Derek? They've been, they looked bad against the elite teams they've played, us and Kansas City, if they're still elite. They certainly looked it against Detroit, and then they took care of business against everybody else. So I think they're going to be contenders, obviously. But what do you make of their performance?
Yeah, for sure. I didn't get to pay attention too closely to their last game, but like going into it was apparently their top 4 defensive backs were all injured. Like I don't know
both
how
safeties
that,
were hampered. I know too, for sure.
Yeah, so like that could have contributed to it. I still think they're like very solid. They got the Gibbs Montgomery punch is great. The Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Sam Laporta. They got a lot of weapons.
They don't have to think about what they're doing on fourth down. I think there's more power to that than you would think. Like, they just know and they go with it and live by the sword, die by the sword. They're going out on their shield.
Yeah, no, this week will be an interesting game. I don't know. It's probably too early to be thinking about non-divisional opponents and who we're worried about, like, on a path to the playoffs. But this Buccaneers versus Lions game will be crazy good to watch and, could be seeding implications as long as, well, I'm assuming we're going to be up there for divisional title. So it's the Lions, maybe not so much, but Bucs, if they can win that game, that'll put them in good position to get a really good seed, but they're banged up too at the wide receiver position. So we'll see. I think the Lions, it was week 1. We took care of business very easily against them, but they're still definitely a big threat to us.
Well, in order to stay atop the division, we got to take care of business against Jacoby Brissett and the Cardinals. We're going to be able to do it, Schmitty?
Griffey, Jacoby Brissett, he's made his money on situations like this throughout his career. So the Cardinals, I think they've lost their last 4 games by a total of 9 points. They play these games very, very closely. Okay. We are 6.5-point favorites, and I think that even includes counts for Jacoby being their starter. Just much like last week, how we just can't put these seemingly bad teams away, I'm very concerned that we're going to have our hands full against the Cardinals. They got a great safety in Budda Baker. Their tight end is one of the best in McBride. Having a great tight end, especially if you're a stand-in quarterback, knowing that you had that safety blanket is incredibly helpful. The running backs are banged up. Connor's no longer for the year. I believe the other running back, he's also on IR, so I don't know who, but they're at their 3rd and 4th string running back. Bam Knight. Okay, so
and Michael Carter.
You got a wide receiver in Marvin Harrison Jr. So there are some good pieces to this Cardinals team. They're playing teams tough, and so I'm really hoping that we can rely on Josh Jacobs again this week to keep the ball in our possession, and hopefully Micah Parsons, they start calling some holding penalties for Micah, because the guy deserves them, because he's getting held on damn near every play. And so his presser today with the media, I think he's going to see a little envelope in his locker with a nice fine from Mr. Goodell, because you can't speak so badly on these refs. They don't take too kindly to us not showing favorability to the defense, as Mike is saying. This is a offense-driven league, which it is, but you got to help the boys up front that are trying to rush these quarterbacks that get paid a lot of money. Griffey, we got to keep Jacoby in the pocket, and if we do that, I think we stand a chance. The problem is you got a kid that is prone to throwing bad interceptions, and we're going to throw 3 of them on Sunday. Okay. We lose, Griffey, 23-13. It is going to be horrendous. And now knowing that we're going to have to go against the Steelers Sunday Night Football when they have 10 days rest, it's going to be a toaster week. I can just feel it. It's going to drive me insane. For all the reasons that we were hating on Matt about this game against the Bengals, it's going to come to fruition. We're finally going to lose. It's going to bite us in the rear end. We lose.
All right,
Derek,
calm down.
What do you have to say about all that?
Calm down. That's one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard on this podcast. You've had a lot of rants, and I know you're trying to, I think you're emotionally hedging. You're trying to not get your hopes up. But this is the game where we find, like, okay, we're 3-1-1. Those 3 wins were all by two scores, more than one score. So we're saying, oh, we're not doing too good. We're winning games by multiple scores. And we're a couple plays away, a couple 30-second segments away from being 5-0. This is the game where it's going to be the blowout that everyone expects. We're winning by 17 plus points. We're going to get 2 plus turnovers. Micah's going to get 2 plus sacks. And Matthew Golden's going to finally find the end zone. He hasn't
2 plus
found the end
touchdowns.
Zone yet. I'm not going to go that far. I'm just going to get Matthew Golden in the end zone because he hasn't gone in the end zone yet, right? So he's going to get at least his first one this week. But it's going to be a comfortable 30-13 victory for the Packers.
Well, I'm seeing on TV tonight the bad man, Aaron Rodgers, playing 10 days ahead of his showdown with the Packers. I can't even get up for this Cardinals game, Schmidt. Am I going to tune in? I'm just ready to go. Schmidt and I going to Pittsburgh.
Right,
We're going to be living large. What's that?
We got to elaborate on that. What's the plan? What's the tailgate plan? What are the seats?
I'm just along for the ride. I've got a couple work-related functions in Dallas. So I am flying to Dallas. I'm, traveling the continent here, and then I'm back up to Pittsburgh. And then Schmidt and I'll be living large. Schmidt's kind of known as a Bloody Mary guy, so I suppose on Sunday we might have to get that done and get ready for the big game on Sunday night. But as I understand, Schmidt's got some connections for us there in Pittsburgh. I think he runs the whole town over there, and so we're going to make the most of that, as I understand. But I'm just a little nervous. We got Aaron Rodgers on 10 days rest, thinking in a dark room by himself about how he can beat his former team, the Green Bay Packers. That gives me a little anxiety, Schmitty. I'm sure you're giddy about it.
Griffey, I am so excited. I might wear a Rodgers jersey on Sunday Night Football. I might not be able to help myself.
A Butte Community College Aaron Rodgers jersey.
There we go. But we'll save that for next episode. We'll have a nice lead in for Steelers week. But Griffey, please give us a prediction for Sunday.
Do I have to make a pick?
You're going to have to do something.
I feel like the picks have not been going well for me. They zag when I think they're going to zig. Does anybody even want to hear my pick? I might just retire from picking. This is why I don't do NFL pick'em. This is not in my wheelhouse, much like fantasy football is not in Schmitty's wheelhouse. But I'll give you my 2 cents. I think we get it done for no other reason. We don't have to think too hard about this. The Green Bay Packers are a better football team than the Arizona Cardinals, and we haven't been fully living up to our potential. I'm not saying we're going to do that and put it all together, but if we show up, and as long as we don't, as Jerry Glanville said, have a couple plane crashes and a few trains go down, and before you know it, we got third-string quarterback or something in there. We're going to win the football game. So I don't have to think any harder about it than that. Schmitty, any words for our fans out there, Packers Corner faithful?
3:00. We play a 3:00 game Sunday afternoon. Get up for it, okay? If you live in the Midwest like most of us do, most of Packers Corner faithful, take a look outside, enjoy this beautiful weather. Maybe get something on the grill. Those days are numbered. Enjoy yourselves. We don't have to play Kyler. That's helpful. Griffey, again, I really hope, to your point, that we can put it all together. So as you're enjoying your Sunday afternoon, hope that MLF can finally put it all together for the boys and then for us faithful of the Green Bay Packers.
Derek, the missing member of our crew, my father, typically has a cheese for us on
True.
Tuesday evenings, but on a Thursday evening with you here, what beverage do you have there for? It looked like you had a Packer themed beverage.
I do. It's called Wisconsinitis Cream Ale, and it's got a little picture of Leroy Butler doing the Lambeau Leap.
I like a cream ale, not a farmhouse ale. That can be
Correct.
contentious in
From-
Wisconsin.
It's from Three Sheeps Brewing, Wisconsin Brewery.
Where are they located out of?
That's a great
Sheboygan.
question. Yeah,
The
I think
pride of
Sheboygan.
Sheboygan.
Yeah.
Well, look at you guys. Well, that's what we got. Derek, thanks a ton for joining us here. Fun breaking it
Thank
down
you,
with you. We got to get
Thanks for having
the
me.
crew together in person for a Packer game. I guess we did for the draft over at the Larson household, but we'll have to get the boys together here before too long. Schmitty, you and I will take care of it out in Pittsburgh. Parker McNamee, shout out Parker. Going to be in town, but we're going to miss him, Schmitty. So we're going to be out east. We'll have to make up for that.
Yes.
But are you guys up for getting together for a little shindig here before too long?
Yeah,
I
for
love
sure.
We'll make it happen. Maybe UFC fight too. Well, that's what we got to
Yeah.
add to the.
Yeah.
We got to add Madden streams and UFC fighting.
And
we'll
fantasy
be tough
football.
to stop. There we go. We'll be tough to stop, gentlemen. Thanks for joining me here. I hope everybody has a great night.
Love
Let
you
that
all.
go.